Hey guys, how are you doing? So today on this video I will show you guys how to install SSH or Secure Shell. Right? What is a Secure Shell? Secure Shell is a network communication protocol that enables the computer to communicate. That it allows the computer to communicate. Right? Like we have HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. That's used for. It's a protocol used for web pages or websites, right? And share data. So SSH is often used to log in and perform operations on your server. All right, you can remote control your server. SSH. The good thing about SSH that the connection is encrypted, so it's very suitable and secure. It's very suitable to use on insecure networks. All right. So how do we use SSH? We have a client that connects to the server. Okay, I will show you guys after installing. So the first thing, we have to install OpenSSH on our computer, on our server, right? I'm going to log in to my server. Yeah. All right. So my password. Perfect. Now we are logged into our server. Remember, this is the server we set up the last video. So now we are going to install OpenSSH. Let me clear the screen. Okay. Now sudo apt install OpenSSH. All right. It's going to ask the password. So we're OpenSSH. All right. I did some shit. Sudo apt install OpenSSH server. Sorry guys. Server. All right. It's located. Press enter. So it's installing now the OpenSSH on our server. Okay. So as client, we have a few clients to connect on SSH. Like I use PuTTY on my computer, PUTTY, PuTTY. All right, this software here. Okay, but we have other. I'll let it here because we are going to use that. So we have other clients, SSH clients, like for Windows, WinSCP. We have like a CyberDuck for macOS. We have a lot of clients for Linux, but I prefer to use PuTTY. Okay, if you want to use, also you can connect to your server using your terminal from your computer or your Linux, your macOS, or your Windows. I think it's better. All right. So I use this because I use the PuTTY because I have to work with this. Okay. The company where I work, it's as a rule to use PuTTY SSH. So that's okay for me. I have no problem with that. So now, after installing, we are going to configure and enable this. All right, and then after that we are going to change up the port of SSH because for security reasons we don't want anybody to find out our SSH port, right, open port, because that's going to be a very secure problem. So let's finish to install it. Why so slow is the question. I have like 800 megabytes connection. Well, at least they told me they delivered that, but I don't believe. So anyway, all right, let's finish. Put a little bit down the sound. So that's good. All right, it's going. Oh, 65. Okay, all right, it's going. So this computer is on my lab, all right? I use specifically this computer. I use Windows because I program C Sharp, so it's best for me. But I have one here, a Dell here with 32 gigabytes memory, one terabyte SSD, processor A7, the 8th generation. There is two gigabytes graphical card. Right, it's not good, but well, at least to have some graphical card. And I have another one over here. Let me just disconnect from there. Here, it's a Lenovo with 24 gigabytes memory, also 1 terabyte SSD, 2 terabytes HDD, right? And I have like also 4 gigabytes graphical card, and it's an i5 the last generation. And this computer is like 64 gigabytes. This laptop I'm using right now with Windows 64 gigabytes memory, i7 8th generation, 1 terabyte SSD, 4 terabytes HDD, and then 6 gigabytes graphical card. All right, so it's better for me to work with C Sharp and Visual Basic and do my labs because I have a lot of machines and servers. So we are done installing OpenSSH server, right? So let me here clear. All right, so now we installed SSH. We are going to enable or check at least first. First, we're going to check the status. So system CTL, okay, system control. All right. Status SSHD. All right, it's running, and you guys can see it's running on. Let me see. All right. Okay. All right. Perfect. There is no any trouble with that. Perfect. What is the next step? We can restart SSH to test. All right. It's simple controls. Start, stop, restart, and status. All right. Start with going to start as the service on Ubuntu server or on Linux. Stop is going to stop. Restart will restart the service, and status is going to show you the stats if it's running all right, if you have any problem running this. So we are going to restart system CTL restart SSHD. All right, is required to restart as. All right, Odin. Well, access denied. So sudo. All right, probably the problem is sudo system CTL. Probably I'm sure about that. Restart SSH. All right, it's done. Yeah, the well, sometimes most of the time we're going to ask to run a service or stop a service as sudo. Sudo is the root. The root administrator is the group of administrators on Linux. All right, it's like the administrator on Windows, and normally this kind of service is going to use sudo to start restart. All right, so now we are going to allow SSH on our firewall on Ubuntu. So sudo ufw allow SSH. Okay, rules updated. It means the rules were updated, and now we can run SSH on our port, and it's going to be accept connections. Okay, so I'm going to enable SSH, this SSH, open SSH to start with computer. When my computer starts, when my system starts, SSH will start together. So sudo systemctl enable SSHD. Oops, SSH, I think, or SSHD. No, SSH. Okay, it's executing. Oh, all right. Now, every time we start our Linux server, SSH will be running. Okay, without any problem. You don't need to go there and hey, sudo systemctl start SSH. We don't need to do that. Okay. So now we can connect on our server. Okay. We can do. Let's take first the IP address from our server. So IP here we have this here on Enet. Okay, we have 192.168.80.162. Perfect. So now I will try to connect to my server with PuTTY. Where is it? So another thing is, if you want to connect through the internet or over the internet to your SSH server, you have to use your public IP address. All right. If you go to the Google and write down what's my IP address, in some websites they show you your IP address. Also, you have to forward your ports. Okay. You have to go to your router and then forward a port for your service. All right. So I'm going to try to use PuTTY to connect to my SSH. So it's 192.168.80. Okay. And I press the enter instead dot 192.168.80.162. Let me see. It's going to load. All right. So here I have an alert because the first time that we are connecting to our SSH server, so the server host key is not cached in the registry. It means we don't have a key for the server registered on our host, so on our computer. So you have no guarantee that server is the computer you think it is. So it's telling you that maybe this computer, this server, it's not the server you think it is, or like can be anything. All right. But I'm sure this is the server I want to connect, so I will connect. Okay, so now here I have the connection. I will put my user. All right, now my password. So voila, we are connected to our server. So ls nothing. So let me see what's directory ls. Okay, the obelix. Right. So mkdir obelix ssh server. All right. So we just created a folder, and to prove you guys we are connected on our server, I'm going to write ls to list the directory, the files on this directory. So we have ssh server, ls l. Let me see here. We just created the folder. You guys can see that September 3, 11:19 a.m. or p.m. So there is the rwx. This is the permissions, the user who created, and the owner. All right, so we are connected on our SSH server by SSH. So to connect to your server is the same thing. Over internet is the same thing. You go to your internet, check your IP address, open a port, forward a port on your router, and then you connect to your SSH, okay? So we have an optional thing to do, like change the port for SSH server. So first we are going to edit the file. All right, so let me check here. Sudo nano etc sshd config. So here, now we can change the ports, okay, for SSH. Let's check your config file. Right, all right. So if you guys checked over here, the standard port is 22. So we can change this, writing down another port, right? 8585 in this case. Let me turn on the here 8585. I could use this 8585, 8282, 9000, I have it till 65 65,000 ports to open on my computer. Some ports are reserved, like SMTP port, HTTP port, HTTPS port. We have FTP port that is reserved to the system unless you change these configuration files too. But well, to edit, you just change and comment this line, and then you change the port. So I'm not going to do that because I don't want, I don't need it. It's my local host, so it doesn't matter to me if I have it open or not. So I'll say no. All right, I exit, and that's it, guys. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and that's all. Next video, I'm going to show how to install a web server, configure a web server on Linux, right, to run our web pages. Right. Thank you. Have a nice day.